Well, the one who comes to my mind now is an older girl. She's in her early 30s, who already had twin daughters, 9 years old, and was pregnant by someone who had an addiction problem, as she did herself, but was on the road to cleaning up before she found out she was pregnant. And she had every reason, according to her mother, his mother, him, anybody who had anything to do with the baby, they all believed that the only answer for her was an abortion, because the past drug use was something would be wrong with the baby, because he was still using, there'd be no money, there would be nothing but pain and poverty, the relationship didn't stand a chance. The father of the twins, who she had been married to for 10 years, was ready to, he was going to have no part of that and didn't want his daughters to have any part of that. And I would say the first 2 or 3 times we met, it was still in her mind to end the pregnancy. And she never really used the word abortion. That's how I knew I still had, she would skip around it, because she knew something in her nurturing self told her that this just was not a solution for her. Throughout the pregnancy, there were a lot of bad times. There was a health scare. There was a scare with the biological father of her twins. And I watched her grow. I watched her go on to have a child who is healthy, has brought the entire family together, who he is not the father of the twins has now taken on the opportunity of loving this little girl with everything, because she was meant to be. And the birth father does support the child, but he's still in his world of drugs and alcohol. And so it's an extended family that she has. And her mother is doing really very well. Back to school and going to school for her CAC so she can get into addictions counseling, because she's clean 3 years now. And she now is coming to help do volunteer work at the Blessed Margaret Home, especially for the girls who have addiction issues.
A woman called, and I answered the phone, and for the first 10 minutes she yelled at me. I didn't even get a word in. She said, you know, what kind of people are you? All you want to do is teach my daughter how to live off welfare. Now she's 16, there's no way she can handle a baby. I mean, what do you think you're doing? And she just continued to yell at me. Now I've called 5 different places and none of you people can give me an answer. And I thought, wait a second. So I sat and I listened to her and I let her get it off her chest. And when she was finished, I said, ma'am, I said, let me just ask you a question. I said, if you're telling me that I am the 6th place that you've called, I said, you're not looking for a place for your daughter to have an abortion. You're looking for someone to help you reconcile your relationship with your daughter. And she said, yes. She started crying. So what we actually ended up doing is starting a new program for our minor clients, any girls under the age of 18, that they would not have to live in our building. They could receive all of the same services that we provide, the educational services, the pregnancy support services, and now the family services. So this young lady and her mother came in throughout the pregnancy. We actually helped them with the pantry services as well. By the time Danny was actually done with their services, the father was coming in for services as well. Now that she actually, I think that little one's 15 months old now, they still contact Danny on a regular basis just to let her know how well they're doing. And we have 7 clients in that program. We have 7 minors who are not being displaced from their household. They're living with their parents and they're learning to work through those teenage issues and problems, but it's giving the girls a support system that they were almost in jeopardy of losing.
Well, oftentimes someone will come up to me and say, my sister-in-law, you know, my daughter needs this help. I'm so glad you're here. Even some of the hotel staff, some of the waitresses will come over, or the fellows that are tearing down the booth will ask me for things. And there have been times I've had people come up and because I think they know, because we are pro-life and we have a sensitive, excuse me, topic, and that we're willing to help people. Privately they'll say to me, you know, I had an abortion and I really, you know, regret it. And I wish, one lady said to me, I wish there would have been a program like this for me. Where were you, you know, 20 years ago? And other people that are having trouble with fertility and they want to have a baby. I had one woman start to cry because, you know, she just felt like she needed to talk to somebody. I'm a safe person because I'm a stranger, but they know this is a caring program.
One young woman that I saw was very pressured by her boyfriend to have the abortion. So we encouraged her for the next session to bring her boyfriend in, and she did. And so I showed the boyfriend, put in his hand an exact fetal replica of an 11 to 12 week preborn baby, and started to tell him the characteristics of this baby, including fingerprints, heartbeat, so on. By the end of the session, he was actually stroking this baby in his hand. There wasn't any more talk of abortion. He realized the humanity of his child.
I never want to see those women come out of a van in their shackles and handcuffs and taken into an abortion clinic.
It was an old convent. They had taken a convent where holy women had been and no longer were using, and they made it into a maternity home. And as I was going through the maternity home, through these very beautiful ornate wooden door frames, I passed a computer room. And in the computer room is this girl with a bassinet at her feet, and she's learning and taking typing classes. Now it's through this door frame, and I'm looking at this young lady in a safe environment, being loved by the maternity home personnel, her baby right at her feet, and she's bettering herself and taking typing classes so she can get a job and go to college. And I said, wow, that's an alternative to abortion. That's what this program's about. That's what an alternative to abortion is. An alternative to abortion isn't rhetoric. It's not a pamphlet with 1-800 numbers. An alternative to abortion is another person. It's another person willing to take on the struggles with somebody and empower her to overcome her own obstacles. That's what makes this program unbelievable. And that's why I love being part of it. And the more we can fund it, the more that type of work goes on. That's what America ought to do.